We all have one. What's your funniest accident involving poo? I feel like, as embarrassing as it is, especially since it happened when I was an adult, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it, but I think people shit themselves sometimes. I mean, there's just sometimes where it's just a miscalculation, right? I feel like you had one too many cups of coffee, or you know what I mean. There's always something. I feel like there was a time. This is so fucking, I can't believe I'm telling the internet this, but there was definitely one time I was walking home from work, and I don't know, like something I ate, it just hit me, and it was like I walk home, and I still had another like 45 minutes to go, and I'm bubbling, like, you know what I mean? It's like Mount St. Helens, like there's no turning back, and there was like this, there's a little park. I hope nobody where I live who may have found the evidence of this happening sees this, but there was a park. It was dark enough, and I went and I just shit. I shit next to a garbage can. I wiped my ass with my fucking boxers, and I threw my boxers in the trash, and then I waddled home and jumped straight into the shower and was in there for probably like 3 hours. It was like the grossest thing ever. Please tell me I'm not alone in that. Is up, internet? I'm that dude Swainzilla, aka old guy with too much time on his hands, coming at you from the man cave, and this is crazy ass news. Human waste spill leads to several spinouts. Well, that just stinks. I sure hope they get to the bottom of this. It probably just seeped out from an old crack somewhere. But I'm going to leave that up to the police, because figuring out what caused this mess ain't my duty. So, it all started out as just multiple vehicles involved in a major crash on Interstate 95 in Bridgeport, involving two state police vehicles and a tractor trailer. Imagine finding out later that it was a shit slick that caused you to wreck your car on the highway. Like, of all the things that you have to worry about on your way home is a shit slick. I bet you they didn't see that one coming.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The driver of the Mack truck, identified as Shaky Joseph, aged 34, from Waterbury, was charged in connection with the crashes. First off, Shaky Joseph shouldn't be driving anything, let alone a fucking trucker full of shit. Like, this was just waiting to happen, right? Shaky Joe out there, he's driving around. I'm assuming he's shaking, right? And next thing you know, there's just shit slick all over the goddamn highway. The crashes occurred near exit 27 on the northbound side of the highway on Monday night. That puts a cap on your Monday, doesn't it? Imagine you're working all goddamn day, putting up with everybody else's shit. It's just fucking frustration. Not the frustration. You swing home, on your way you swing by the Minute Mart and grab a lottery ticket or something, just hoping that that your luck turns around. And then you get your ass on the highway, and the next thing you know, you're in a fucking guardrail with fucking shit splattered all over the goddamn place. The highway was closed for approximately 3 hours. Look, shit is hard to clean up. When I was a kid, I worked on a farm, and I had to shovel shit. It's not the easiest thing to fucking clean up. Sometimes it has a mind of its own. It is organic material at the end of the day. Initially, state police thought an oil spill is what caused the crash, but using their detective skills, they soon realized it was human waste. I wonder what, like, was it right after they got out of the car? Like, it had to, if there was enough shit on the road that, like, it made cars wreck and shit, it had to fucking reek. I mean, as soon as they got out of the car, they had to know this ain't oil. Like, Unless it was like, did that oil go bad? Like you kind of know what human shit smells like. So they had to know like right away. Investigators found that Joseph's Mack truck towed a trailer with an unsecured load, leaking human waste onto the highway, making everything slippery. Like, going back to my farming days, the consistency of shit, like I said, it's organic material. So it's not like mud. Like, well, I guess technically mud is organic material, but this is like fresh. Fresher than dirt fucking genetic material. So it's slippery. Like you have to be careful when you're shoveling cow, and this is cow shit. And cow shit has, by the time I'm shoveling it, there's like, you know, hay and fucking sawdust and stuff mixed with it. This is just human shit from a tanker, man. Like it must have been like fucking the ice capades out there. State police responded to help several drivers who had hit in the slick spot and were involved in collisions. So they got the call, right? At the police station, they were like, oh, we got a fucking multiple car wreck up on the highway. Get everything you think you're going to need, and then get your asses out there and help those people, right? And they get out there. And they find out that it's not your run-of-the-mill fucking car accident. There's fucking a shit slick on the highway, causing cars to fucking swerve and spin out. Industrial amounts of shit. And you show up on the scene, and you got like, what, you got the jaws of life in the car, maybe, or something. Nothing prepares you for this amount of shit. While the cops are sitting on the median with their emergency lights on, a tractor trailer hit the slick spot. Jesus Christ. Lost control and collided with one cruiser, causing it to hit the other one. So it's like, dude, you can't make this up. This is like Cannonball Run. Like, this is an old fucking Burt Reynolds movie. Like, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like an 80s fucking rom-com for sure. Unfortunately, no injuries were reported in the incident, but like no physical injuries. It's got to be a little traumatizing. I mean, it's probably funny. Like, I think this is something you look back on and think is funny, but you're always going to look a little bit like closer. If you see something down the road, you're always going to lean in a little bit just to make sure it's not a fucking human waste slick on the goddamn highway. Because I imagine they wrecked and the shit's probably like splashing everywhere. So like it's on your car. Like the people who have to fucking, the tow trucks, all the emergency people, everybody that showed up, there's just a massive amount of shit everywhere. That's kind of got to fuck with you.
Emotional and psychological damage.
The twist is, the troopers determined that Joseph, old Shaky, was aware of the leak, leading the charges against him. This guy did it on purpose.
What? Who does that?
Like, he drove this fucking tanker full of shit out onto the highway and then just said, fuck these motherfuckers. Who knows what pissed him off, but he purposely leaked shit out onto the road. I doubt he thought, like, a big-ass car wreck would happen. He probably just thought, who knows what was going through his head at the time. But he couldn't have imagined that there'd be a bunch of fucking car wrecks. He probably just thought it'd be like, fuck this. Maybe he didn't like the road. I don't know. But him doing it on purpose adds a whole new layer of like, what the fuck? Joseph was charged with an unsecured load, reckless driving, and 12 counts of first-degree reckless endangerment. Like, 12 counts. Is that for each car affected? It's probably the car. So that means this motherfucker used a load of shit and wrecked 12 cars, including 2 police cruisers and a fucking at least one 18-wheeler. Like, dude. I mean, that's kind of, it's kind of funny. Like, it's fucked up, but it's pretty funny.
Okay.
He was released on a $25,000 bond and given a court date of August 8th. I don't know. I feel like $25K. At first when I read that, I was like, that's an awful lot for spilling shit on the road, especially since he probably didn't realize he was going to cause a wreck. Maybe he did know. Maybe he did know that it was going to cause a wreck, but I feel like you can't really expect that to happen, because I mean, it may happen. Maybe he did some research. Maybe he did some research, but yeah, well, how crazy is it? I feel for the first responders. Like, it's bad enough if you wreck your car and it's caused by a fucking shit slick in the road. It's another thing when you're trying to like help people and you show up and everything, there's just shit everywhere. I feel like there's probably a moment where you're contemplating, you're that old fucking, Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit. I am curious to where Shaky Joseph got his name, and I would love to know why he decided to do this. It's just crazy. But I don't know. What do you think about this? What was the most F everybody else type of thing you have ever done? I'm a pretty considerate person. I've never really tried to fuck over a bunch of people. I mean, can I think of when somebody did it to me though? When I was involved in something like that? Not really. I feel like this is kind of a rare thing. I don't really have any stories off the top of my head.
2 hours later.
I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head. If you've heard any other stories like this, throw them in the comments, because I might want to check those out too. We all have one. What's your funniest accident involving Pooh? I feel like, as embarrassing as it is, especially since it happened when I was an adult, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it, but I think people shit themselves sometimes. I mean, there's just sometimes where it's just a miscalculation, right? I feel like you had one too many cups of coffee, or you know what I mean? There's always something. I feel like there was a time, this is so fucking, I can't believe I'm telling the internet this, but there was definitely one time I was walking home from work, and I don't know, something I ate, it just hit me, and it was like, I walk home, and I still had another 45 minutes to go, and I'm bubbling, you know what I mean? It's like Mount St. Helens, there's no turning back, and there was this, there's a little park, I hope nobody where I live who may have found the evidence of this happening sees this, but there was a park. It was dark enough, and I went and I just shit. I shit next to a garbage can. I wiped my ass with my fucking boxers, and I threw my boxers in the trash, and then I waddled home and jumped straight into the shower and was in there for probably 3 hours. It was the grossest thing ever. Please tell me I'm not alone in that. What do you think made this guy go spill shit all over the road on purpose? What's Shaky Joseph's problem? Is this one of those falling down situations? You remember just an adding up? He's a truck driver, he's hauling shit. I mean, we all have our own trials and tribulations. So who knows what led old Shaky Joseph to committing this atrocity? Like I said, I doubt he knew that it was going to cause a fucking bunch of accidents, but it did, man. And I mean, $25,000 bail. Unless this isn't his first offense, maybe they let him slide. Maybe they let him slide, but I don't know. I don't know if they let him slide, because it's shitty. It's shitty. What he did was shitty. How did this story make you feel? For me, I'm a little concerned about people's mental health as a whole. I mean, the more of these stories that I read, it kind of blows me away. It feels like we're teetering on the edge. I don't know how we wake up to the world still spinning every goddamn day, because one of these crazy people are somehow, some way, gonna find themselves in a powerful position, and they're gonna get us all fucking killed out of whatever this fuck everybody mentality, this, I don't know what you would call it, but I don't know. That's how it made me feel. It makes me nervous that, that our fucking the clock is ticking. But anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.